Good evening, everyone out there in the streaming worlds of the online broadcasting circuit. I am your host, Jim Baumgartner, for the 72601 Dot Life podcast for Thursday, November the 21st, 2024. Let me get a drink of this coffee. How about this weather we're having, huh? Goodness gracious, Alicia and Caitlin and I, we were out at Commerce Mall today, and it was a good afternoon. It was wonderful, and then I realized how much colder it was getting, and colder and colder. And boy, howdy, it has. It's like it was like 42 degrees when we left the mall, but the wind chill. It's like I wonder what the wind chill is. Well, the wind chill is already 32 degrees, so it's chilly. Lots of chilly out there, flat cold, and I know a lot of folks are running to get antifreeze into their cars. Not a bad idea, and because we're looking for an overnight low of 31 in the morning. But again, the way the wind's kicking, it's enjoy the coffee, kids. Anyway, I hope you all had a fantastic day. I've been very good, and ever since we started doing the podcast and rolling along with it, it's been fun. So actually, I need to do something real quick. So let's chat just a touch, shall we? One of the things you're going to see when it comes to this 72601 live podcast and its efforts and its intentions is to, oh, that's a big picture of me, big pictures of me, actually. Let me change. I got to do a quick change here on the settings on this because another little just insider tip for you, like when it comes to Facebook, they do fun little things to where they adjust settings and so on that can make it fun. Anyway, I got to do a little thing there, but that's not a big deal. I again in the comments, if you say them, most places that it's going, I'll be able to see them here. Like right there, what do I see? So, hey, it's Cresslin. Cresslin, how are you doing, my friend? I'm glad that's Cresslin Roberts with Cressie's, located inside of Commerce Mall with her Cressie's. It's a great name because it's a good variety of stuff that she has in there. She's also doing a lot of new things that just kind of popped up, and I'm sure that Cressie, I do hope you will take the time to put them in the comments and a link to your store. And also all the things that are happening right next door with her at 3D Toys and More with Richard, because he's making some fun gifts and for any time. This is not just even a Christmas thing. It's a little bit of this and a whole lot of that. And this is still being a little persnickety, but that's okay. I'm going to fix that real fast. Like there I am. I had to find my other magical device that brings the world into our hands. I want to fix this real quick to make sure that everybody in the world can see this, since Facebook likes to change privacy settings. Be sure to pay attention to that because I know earlier today I had seen that Glenn Redding had put together or put a notice out in regards to a particular road having some issues. And he had shared it, but it was just set to friends. And so when you do that, then very few people get the opportunity to see your stuff. So again, we all rely on the Facebook in so many ways, as well as other of the social platforms. You just got to pay attention to some of the ins and outs because their goal is to keep you on the platform. That's true. No different than it's always been. I know back in the radio days, it was always a matter of wanting to make sure that people stayed tuned in all the time, never rip off the knob and beat on the dash, right? So anyway, man, this coffee is so important tonight because it's so cold. And I do hope you all stay warm. Coming up on the show tonight, though, I want to share a little bit of a conversation that I had with Missy Weeks from the Krav Maga Two Crows Dojo here in Harrison, where she was sharing some information with me that I do believe you homeschool parents are going to want to make a note of about a program that's been put together by the state of the Arkansas's Department of Education. That is a huge win for homeschool parents such as myself and Alicia. We'll share more about that here in just a few. Another thing that's kind of cool, because as you see, everything's blurry back here. Well, because I'm still in the process of getting this thing worked out the way I want it in this aesthetic. And if you checked out the blog post this morning, which is kind of a follow-up to yesterday's, when it comes to progress, first off, if you have that desire, that thing, that it's a passion. Be careful turning your passion into a business. But as you're seeing, you see that golden ring in the horizon. Boy, I'd love to do that. Do it. Just start. Don't worry about perfection. Just keep moving forward. It's very important. So I say that, and then this morning a little inspiration struck when it came to like with what I'm doing here and the keeping up appearances aspect of things. Again, I have been a professional broadcaster for 30 plus years. Sometimes you may not notice that or realize it, but truth is truth, right? But the big thing that was a hang up on my end is there are certain preconceptions that I have myself, a standard that I hold myself to. It's like, because if you just see me walking around the streets, and again, this is not to be pompous, but I mean, seriously, it's like you wouldn't, because things have changed so much in the past 20 years when it comes to presentation and so on. What does a journalist look like? What does a reporter look like? What does a news guy wear? What does a television presenter look like? Um, it's funny now because the way everything has changed when it comes to this realm. I mean, influencers and podcasters, literally, now I would even say, even with inflation, there's still a penny a dozen now, and I've fallen right into that rank. But I'm hoping that in being very focused right here into the 72601 and what's going on with information and entertainment, that I can bring you something that is worthy of your time and attention. But but again, thinking about that and how that can also become a hang up, because I know me, if you see on my Facebook page, I found a pic from, gosh, it was like 2010 when I was doing the Here, There, and Everywhere show at TKO8 Television, and I did the whole shtick. I had the tie and the jacket, and Alicia fixed my hair pretty and all that, and it was great, and it was fun, and I felt necessary, and it worked, right? But nowadays, it's like it's just not necessary to do that so much anymore. So it's like, okay, that's cool. But I don't know. It's just a food for thought. So check out that when you go to the 72601.live website, or web page, I should say, and then you can click through to the blog, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, do that. Again, lots going on, and I'm trying to like cover a lot of different things here. As I'm getting acclimated, I've done a rearrange here for the home studio to where, number one, I got out of the dining room for the quick setup that we had to make the other day, and getting set up in my home office. And it's funny because over here to my right, I've got my what has been my production PC hooked up and running and doing its thing, which is actually, it kind of threw me back to another point in time back a long time ago. We're talking about 1993 at KARN News Radio 920 in Little Rock, where I was very fortunate to get a really great part of my career started at. Wonderful people, fantastic station. And in all of that, the way the setup was there when we were reading off the AP wire, and it was just news, so it was just radio, so you couldn't see this hat or the need to actually brush or comb your hair. Anyway, but I looking over here, and I was kind of pulling up a couple news stories to talk about real quick as we're going to the Thanksgiving holiday. The Click It or Dig It campaign is coming up once again as Thanksgiving kicks off that official season. So the Arkansas State Police, along with local and regional county law enforcement, are going to be watching to make sure that you have your seatbelts on. It's important. Be sure to do that. If a seatbelt is what is that, a Class A offense or a reason they can pull you over, so put on your seatbelt. Plus, it keeps you safe. Do that, would you? This is actually opening up an idea and a thought about being able to do a morning news roundup, because, again, this is really a big portion of my motivation here is to bring back a news product to the local area. And I know we've got folks over at the Harrison Daily Times. They're doing the best they can, but that industry has definitely taken a hit over the past several years now. But I want to get back into that game. And also, as a reminder, the Harrison City Council meeting is in progress right now. And if you can go right now if you like, you don't have to stick around here, or you can catch it later if you are on Facebook. You can go to Around the Tables Facebook page, and that's the morning show, the 9 to 10, over at KHOZ with Dan Reynolds and Ann Lemley. And but the Around the Table Facebook page has the stream going out live of the Harrison City Council meeting for November. So check that out. And the best part is it'll be there, so you can check it out whenever you want to. And also, I believe Dan may be simulcasting that on K26 as well on the television. So anyway, kudos to them for Reynolds Media keeping that alive and giving you guys the opportunity to stay informed because that really is very, very important. Press release that came out later in the day today from the Harrison Daily Times. A press release from Harrison Fire Chief and Chief Fire Marshal Mark Lowry announced today that an arrest has been made in connection to the fire which started inside the downtown Dollar General store last month. Now, Lowry shared that the Harrison Fire Marshal's office, along with the Harrison Police Department's warrant officer, arrested Stephanie Cash of Harrison on Thursday, November the 21st, that'd be today, for a warrant on felony charges of arson and aggravated assault. The charges stem from a fire at the Dollar General store on the downtown square in Harrison back on September the 28th. Now, Chief Lowry explained that the Community Risk Reduction Division of the Harrison Fire Department investigates all structure fires within the city to determine their origins and cause. And quoting Chief Lowry, investigations into any fire event is completed to determine the reason a fire may have occurred, either intentional or accidental. And that's according to Chief Lowry. He goes on to say that after the scene examination, the fire loss at the Dollar General was determined to have been intentionally set. The events leading up to the fire were examined and a thorough investigation was made, which led to the charges being filed. Now, Chief Lowry also went on to say that arson is a serious crime that puts the general public in danger as well as our responding firefighters. Furthermore, the impact on insurance premiums is also felt by all. Now, Deputy Fire Marshal Lieutenant John Morgan was assigned to this case as lead investigator and spent many hours reviewing it and saying, Chief Lowry once again saying that he commends John on his thorough work and his dedication to following through with the case. Cash was booked by the Harrison Police Department and released on a $25,000 bond. Now, earlier this month, the city of Harrison announced on their social media that Dollar General's real estate manager said the downtown location is scheduled to reopen in late December or early January. Now, those of you who have been following me for some time, that Alicia and I and Caitlin, we actually ran out there that night when we heard about the fire. And so this was quite surprising. Again, there's no further information from the report, but as we go, we'll see if we can get some more information as it gets. Because again, when it comes to doing the news, it is what it is. That's the official press release. That is what was said and filed by the investigators from the fire department. So there's that. So other than that, I got nothing at this moment in time. But hopefully we'll get some more details to you as soon as we can. So I'm really liking this field. Now, if you can kind of see where I'm going here with this as far as making the news roundups like this, please give me a like, comment, follow, share. That's very important, whichever platform you happen to be catching this on, because the more that you show me your interest in what you're looking for and what you're liking, guess what? I will continue to do so, because this is just what I do, is what I was born to do, right? But what else we got here? Oh, tomorrow night, before we get to tonight's guest, I want to come back over here and put up this very, very dapper picture of a very dapper fellow. Aaron Anderson is going to join me on the show tomorrow night and share a little bit about what's happened in the process of him getting his business listed onto Google. And it was a lengthy process. It was kind of crazy. So he got a little googly eye there, but there he is, Aaron Anderson. Let me take that off real quick. I don't want to cover up his name. He's a great guy. So, but with Aaron there, he has Vigilant Inspection Services. So he's a good guy. I really like him. It's like I came across him by way of some of his social media posts, and it's very entertaining, very funny, but he also does a fantastic job in what he does with both retail and commercial inspections. So check him out, and I look forward to talking with and working with him a whole lot. Matter of fact, I said today, if you go over to the Vigilant Inspection Services page, it's a mouthful, but he's put together on his website, there's a list of contractors and such providers that are, well, that he easily recommends, and he's no slouch in that. This is not like just reviews on Google, Yelp, everywhere else. Those are fantastic. But when you actually got someone on the ground who does these things, if he recommends them, it's easy enough for me to say, yeah, I would go with that too. So let's see here. But anyway, definitely wanted to share that. Invite you to come back tomorrow night to join that conversation with Aaron. But now, again, I am doing so apologize me for the clunkiness, because clunkiness happens, right? And don't allow yourself to wait on perfection. I'm stressing that so much because it's something that I've had to learn myself again. But we're moving on to tonight's topic. Be sure to stick around because we're not done yet. But tonight, it was now, it's been a couple of weeks now since Missy Weeks over at Harrison Krav Maga was telling me about a program through the Arkansas Department of Education that while the enrollment is closed right now, but for 2020, and it was a test run, but for 2025, there is a program through the Department of Education that specifically works towards helping homeschool parents being able with funds to for their kids to be able to do more of what would be considered extracurricular activities. And I found it just fantastic, and it's been great because one of the things that is approved is for kids to be able to go to the Krav Maga dojo, the Two Crows dojo, to be able to take part in that particular outing along. And now at that particular time, Missy was the only one who had filed the necessary paperwork to be a qualified provider of services, but now more are learning and finding out about it. So there are more, and again, if you are a provider of these type of things, I don't have enough details to tell you if you are or if you're not, but if you go to like the Arkansas Learns or Arkansas Department of Education website, you get more information there, or reach out to Missy. I'm sure she'll point you in the right direction because she is a lovely lady with a great big heart. Her husband Larry, awesome guy. Both of them are just a dynamic duo, and they can kick a little butt too. But that's here or there. But let's share this conversation. And I'm not in jail. When I when I kick over, I'm not in jail. I was actually sitting at one of the offices over at Commerce Mall, and so it may look a little ominous, but I promise it's really not. And the conversation made up so much for the look.
How are you guys doing over there?
Well, I think the last time I talked to you, I had almost 40 students, and you said that I was going to probably make that by the end of that month. But we're currently at, I think I have 48 students now. So I've surpassed my goal I set for us for the whole year. So
this is going to be my most favorite I told you so ever. And so it's a wonderful, it's like I'm tickled to death because from the first time that I met you and Larry, when you guys got set up and ready to rock and roll right before your grand opening, again, one of the things that is like really kept me gravitating to you guys is how genuinely pure of heart you guys are in offering the Krav Maga or Crave Maga, the Krav Maga lessons and teachings and such. And so I had no doubt that you guys are going to do very well. And I'm glad to see that, again, I told you so in this.
Well, we're so grateful. This community has just welcomed us, and we're so grateful to be here. And we love all of our kiddos that we have. I've had to actually add another class because we have so many.
Again, that's a wonderful, wonderful problem to have. I'm very glad to hear that. Now, let's kind of go straight into when it comes to, let me kind of do a little button click in here because I am in the process now. It's so funny. One of the coolest things about the way this whole live stream thing works or everything now is you can be anywhere at all times. And actually, it's got me back down at the mall, and I'm actually hiding away in the property manager's office, which is kind of spooky. So I'm not in jail, even though it looks like it. I'm not in jail. But one of the things that you turned me on to and enlightened me about was the education freedom thing with Arkansas Learns. And It's something that I absolutely want to make sure more people know about because, one, it can give homeschool kids the opportunity to participate in Krav Maga with you guys at the Two Crows Dojo. But it opens up so many more opportunities that I find just fascinating, and you've become quite versed in it.
I'm not an expert or anything, but I actually had a friend that lives here in Harrison, a beautiful family. She came in during our grand opening and showed me the link and said, Missy, you have to do this. Nobody here is doing this. And I said, send that to me and I'll do it. And I mean, it was a simple form I filled out online that weekend. And I think a week later I was approved, and I just had to wait until they put their marketplace up. And so it is through the Arkansas Department of Education, but the Education Freedom Account is for homeschool kids, and it's the school tax that everybody pays every year. They're now splitting it up in giving the homeschool kids. This year it was, I think, $6,800 per year for them to spend outside, like music, dance, martial arts, athletics, anything like that. But you have to be a vendor with the state to be able
See,
to do that.
right on. Well, and I'm glad you took the initiative to learn more about it. And because, again, the more folks who do provide services that qualify inside of the program, getting that opportunity to be able to, again, that type of program, I think is fantastic. Because as many most know, that we've always homeschooled Caitlin. And
Mhm.
to know that those state funds that we're all paying for are available for as a resource for homeschool parents, that's fantastic. And um, again, because the homeschool experience, yes, I'm very pro that, and because it gives kids an opportunity to really explore so many different things that a traditional public school just doesn't do. But it can be harder to do because everything is out of pocket with homeschool folks. So to see something like this, utilizing funds in such a truly a fair and balanced way, I'm tickled to death about.
And I think so Larry and I have always been big on trying to keep our costs very low, because I know that it's expensive to put all your children in the things that they like to do. So, so we always, we just charge $25 each additional child after the first one. The first one is full price, and then each additional family member is $25. And I have families that have 7 kids, and they can afford to bring them here. If they were homeschooled kids, then they would be paid for by the state, and I handle all of that. The parent just has to go in and say, "Hey, I want to send my kiddo to Harrison Krav Maga," and I go in and take care of all of it.
See, and that's awesome. That really is. I think that's just absolutely fantastic, and a wonderful service that you're providing. Now, as you've already touched on it, you've exceeded your goal, and I think by the end of the year you're going to uh, go gangbusters even more. So now, just kind of to help people understand, because again, you guys are still so new.
Mhm.
And what exactly are your hours in class time so people can check you out and learn more and the ways they can go about doing that?
So we teach kiddos at 3:30 and 4:30 Monday through Friday. 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30 I teach adults. And we are right on, well, the address here is 1320 Highway 6265. So we're in the same shopping center as Roma's, right behind Scooters. And yeah, so the kiddos can come. They can, if they want to, parents can drop them off at 3:30. If they want to stay and take the next class at 4:30, they're welcome to do that. I let them take unlimited class.
See, that's
And
fantastic.
yeah, and I'm telling you, after 2 classes, they are not feisty anymore.
Yeah, there's been some very good positive stories you've already shared with me when it comes to seeing some transformation in the kids who come in, and with what they're learning through the Krav Maga training is very very empowering and inspirational. I tip my hat to you for sure for what all you're doing with the kids. I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple kids that were not allowed in or had tried other martial arts and asked to not come back because they had attention issues. And a lot of people know Larry and I did special needs foster care for a long time. And so um, I think I have nerves of steel because all of that chaos doesn't, I think I kind of like it, but it doesn't really bother me. But this young man, he was here at my grand opening, and I was showing him how to use the kicking bag, and he told me, you know, that they asked him not to come back because he couldn't pay attention. And I said, well, I really hope your mom and dad, you know, let you come here. And it was kind of rocky there for the first couple of months, and you know, temper tantrums, leaving, telling me he hated me, you know, uh, but finally made his yellow belt. And now he'll come in and I'll have him lead stretch, and he will demonstrate techniques for the other kids, and is super well behaved, follows the rules. And I mean, just like A+ student. I'm the most proud of that young man. And yeah, and I just think it just
That's
takes a little bit of time. And parents, it might get a little worse before it gets better, but it's going to get better. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, Misty, thank you for sharing the information, and I look forward to catching up with you again very soon to get some more Krav Maga positive updates.
Okay. You just come on by. We'll throw a few techniques on you.
Then I'll have to go back and see Gigi for another massage to get lined back out. Right on. Well, thank you again, Missy, and we'll be touching base again real soon.
Okay. See you, Jim.
I love the opportunity to have conversations like that. Missy is great. If you've not had the opportunity to go by the Harrison Krav Maga studio, again, it's over there in the same little stretch of shopping mall there where Roma's is. And it's great. Right there, Scooters, Roma's, go to the back. Right there, you'll see Harrison Krav Maga. And they're great people, and they're doing a good thing. Because, again, the stories that she shares about the impact that it's having with kids is just fantastic. It really is. And as I was sitting here backstage and looking at stuffs, I'm loving this, guys. I don't know about you, but again, this is like the thing for me, and it's so funny. Again, if you've got a thing that you know you should be doing, you just know it. It's like that thing inside of you, that spark, but you're not. I hope you got a really good reason, because I doubt you do, because you need to start. I hope to inspire and encourage everyone to do that I meet. That's kind of a goal of mine. Another great resource that I'm just now. I'm the most I'm too transparent sometimes, I guess. But if you go to the City of Harrison's website, cityofharrison.com, you talk about, they have built this thing out. Their website is fantastic when it comes to the news and information you can get there. And now I don't know the full extent of everyone's roles, but I do know that Donna Bramer is there, and she always did such a great job when she was at the Harrison Daily Times, that it is reflecting here so well as far as the information that is up. Because again, if you go to cityofharrison.com, you can check out all just great. Go into the news section, and you can immediately follow everything that's going on around town, man. And also, well, just from the homepage alone, you start off there and you've got the calendar events, which is great, really and truly. So let's see, what else is coming up next? Of course, we've got the City Council in progress as we speak right now, but then coming up on the 26th, you got the Planning Commission meeting. Those are important because there's been so much going on, and it can give you the opportunity to follow along with that and learn more about it. What is happening in town as far as new construction, new businesses coming. Absolutely fantastic. And what else is coming up this month? Of course, Thanksgiving on the 28th. Then make your note for December the 19th. That's we're going to do another combo with the council committees and regular council meeting because of the holidays. So there's all that. Just fantastic resource, like such as you can go there and learn more about cops and kids. What is it? Well, this is a special time between local police officers and students who need additional help with Christmas gifts for their families. The Harrison Police Department raises funds annually to fund a shopping trip for kids, and the schools have identified as needing assistance. Now, last year, the school district identified 16 students, and they spent $6,000. Assistant Police Chief John Cagle said last year the items the kids picked out were very interesting, and one child purchased shoes for everyone in his family. That is beautiful. They usually pick something for themselves, but it's important to many of them to pick presents for their family members. What a great thing. The HPD Administration Assistant Melissa Lane said donations can be dropped off at City Hall and placed in the box in the lobby, and if someone wants to make a cash donation, they can ask for her. Melissa Lane, and she'll make sure that the money goes to the kids' shopping trip. The HPD staff members and officers will be at Walmart on Friday and Saturday. Oh, we just missed it, November the 15th and 16th. Dang it. So this is why I got to get back at the game more full time, and that's exactly what's happening right here. But so that's fantastic. Okay, so see, this is why it's so important to stay in the loop, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because again, they've got things that you may have missed out on, like when it comes to like the unofficial election results. They're up there. So let's see. They approved the 6/10 of $1 million on property taxes to fund the Harrison Fireman's Pension Fund, and pretty sizable there. Yeah. So 3,542 were for it, 1,400 were against it, and so it goes. The people have spoken. So again, in my role in trying to do good things for folks in the community, I really want to find these things, and I understand, I get it. En masse, most folks, you just don't have time, and that's why for all these decades we relied on radio, television, and newspaper to keep us informed, with one feeding the other and the other. Well, I hope to be able to do a lot more of that feeding myself on the local level, and then also this is one thing that I was going to be very cautious about in getting back in the game, because when you go controversial or you tackle a controversial topic, it's hard, especially now. It is very problematic for people to believe that you don't have a dog in the fight, because, I mean, quite frankly, when it comes to reporting news, I am a firm believer in being straight up and down the middle. I always have been, and that's why if you've seen any of my reports back in the day, if there was something happening or someone was doing a thing or whatever, and I was interviewing them, talk, put it out there, and as far as opinions, someone else could come up with them. I didn't have one. And some things I did get a little bit more heated with because I took it a little too personal. My bad. Won't do that again. But I am looking to move forward into learning more about things that I myself am curious about, that the only information that I'm seeing is out on social media. And my hope, thank you, Liz, I saw that comment there. Appreciate that very much. But when it comes to the things that could have a very big impact on the area, such as what went down with the crypto mining, I personally don't have a dog in the fight either way with that. I don't know. Because why? I didn't go look and talk to people and find out. The only other thing, and I don't, as far as I know right now, that's off the table completely in the area. But there is another issue that apparently still has some steam behind it that I'm not very familiar with, but learning about. And I intend to talk to some folks who are involved with both sides of the project when it comes to wind farms coming to Boone County. Now, again, my knowledge on that is so minuscule right now, but my hope is to be able to learn more. Yeah, and I see that, yes, Liz Torgerson, she is involved in that, as well as my good pal, Roger Jones, when it comes to the opposition. But and I'm not saying, I really don't know, or I haven't come across who is going to be the person to talk to is pushing for it. So I'm going to, again, put my hat back on, my reporter hat back on, and my journalist hat, and do that. I just got a message from Missy, and she's asking, did I do okay? And I'm going to let her know. Oh yeah. So in real time, I'm replying to a private message. But yeah, Missy, you did fantastic. You really, really did. And yeah. And there we go. All righty. So there's that. And boy, it's so fun. This is like cool, man, because like all the interactions you can have everywhere and all different sides. So I got my phone blowing up over here. I got the comments coming in over here. I do my best to keep up with all of that. Let me turn my dinger off though, so I'm not unnecessarily dinging. We don't need dingy stuff. No. But anyway, 7:35. So normally I'm trying to keep the show at about 30 minutes from now. But another thing I want to throw a shout out to, I want to give a shout out to Matt Bell. That wind has been cold all day, and Matt has been out there all day. And I do believe with some of the city Harrison workers getting the Christmas lights up, getting everything flipped on with the timers and such for the lights along the buildings up top. I know the ones right above Commerce Mall and all of Willow Street look fantastic. Most of them look to be in pretty good shape, but I know he was telling me that he was going to need to like kind of double check just to make sure there weren't any breaks in the lines. But from what I can see, it looked very, very good. The lamp posts are lit back up with the wreaths and the garland that goes around and down. So that was very nice to see. But I did notice something that I would like someone to throw some info if you got it, or give me a lead there so I can find out a little bit more. And um, with, excuse me, the gazebos, they were naked. Now, Liz Witt, I know you once, you and Rick and Shirley and Mary Jean and everybody was involved a few years back in that. I was just kind of surprised that I didn't see anything on the gazebos right now. But I don't know. A lot of things to learn about. And again, I'm sure there's some folks who are working on those projects that could use a little bit of help. And as soon as I find out who's doing it, we'll see what we can do to help find some volunteers. Being a guy that was pretty close to that project back in 2010 when we brought it all back, I know the fight, man. I understand it. I get it all too well. Really do. And again, I'm going to say it again for the record. I'm not throwing bones, stones, or anything else, barbs at anyone who's working on the project today. But I know back then, I forever will always tip my hat to a handful of folks who put in all the work. Kathy Heffley, Heather Brewer, Aaron Ramsey, and of course Steve Pedersen with Illumination Station, Charlie Smith, God rest his soul. Let's see, Shane Brewer, and trying to remember that was kind of it. Then myself and Alicia were there. Zeddy Johnson, again, Godspeed Zeddy. She did a great thing. She really did. And yeah, it was quite the thing back then. Again, I try not to dwell too much on the past, but some things I don't want to let that effort go forgotten. Yeah. And Rick Schonenberg. Now here's the thing. That's a great, fantastic story because the way when Rick got involved, it was because don't never think for a second that Rick Schonenberg isn't like one of the biggest proponents of everything downtown. He is fantastic. I tell you what. And when because Rick really took charge once Charlie, his mother had gotten ill, and so Charlie had to split. So Rick, boy, he stepped up, man. He really did. He's the one who went back to the council and the county and all those things. And Rick started doing some amazing work with that project, adding to it when a lot of things had faded away. So yeah, another one I got to tip my hat to. And everybody who's working on the project now, like I say, the only person I know firsthand one up is Matt Bell. And so big shout out and kudos to Matt. And it's not to slight anybody else. It's just my info is pretty low right now, but we'll work on that. Speaking of which, it's amazing. I have to remember that this is my show and I can do whatever I want again. And so I am. And again, I'm as candid as I can be because I don't have any reason not to. Once you hit 50 kids, I promise you, your perspective, you will find certain things you just do not concern yourself when it comes to other people's opinions. But at the same time, I am going to forever be as respectful as I can to that camera and this microphone, your attention and this stream, because I'm a firm believer in it. It's like if you're going, don't talk dirty on the radio, man. That's all. And but with that said, this whole thing, all of it you see and what you're going to be seeing more and more of, is I wanted to create and get back into this news and information space in a creative manner. I didn't want to go what would have been the traditional route with sponsors, commercials, things like that. I really didn't want to do that. And you'll see at the bottom of the screen with the ticker and everything, it says visit 72601.live to get the latest digital version of the book, because I'm updating it as people, when you go to the site, there's a box where you can, if you don't see your business in there, that you could email me and then I'll get back with you, a little two-party thing, so we can get back together and make sure we're both real people. That's very important. But anyway, that way I can get you into the digital version, which will immediately roll right over into the 2025 version, which is expanding to 72 pages with with more features, more enhanced listings, and any other bells and whistles I can come up with. Another thing about when you go down to the 72601.life page and you can click on and download the guide, is I built it out to where on all those enhanced listings, when you click it, it will go to that particular business's online presence, be it social media, be it a website, whatever they prefer. And then in the printed book, of course, you got the QR code. So I'm trying to make this as interactive and valuable as possible, because this is not, to me, about building you an advertising product. I'm not worried about that aspect of it. Yes, it's how I fund everything. But more importantly, I wanted to do something in that realm that would add more value for businesses. Why? Because it builds community. And along with that, it's also connecting these businesses. Like, I know that a lot of, okay, one example being with Missi and Larry with Krav Maga, it's like it was so serendipitous, because like right after I did the video with them, along comes Aaron and Julie Anderson with Vigilant Inspection Services and then Twilight Photography. Anyway, they all met up and then they did some stuff together. And I want to encourage every bit of that as much as I can. I know there are some organizations in town who done that and formed groups and things like that, and I wish all of them the best as well. I do, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big, it's not that I'm not a joiner, but I'm just not a committee guy. I'd rather just take action and run with it. That's me, right? But I support every single one of them as best I possibly can. But I love seeing the networking that is growing from people who are participating. And again, it started out with everyone in the city of Harrison who has a business license here. Went through the whole thing, got their permits, and did the right thing in that as far as the rules go. And then, of course, everyone inside of Commerce Mall. And that was the starting point, and they've been adding ever since. And another section that will be coming will be home-based. So the home-based section, that way folks who, because there's so many people who have their own side hustles and do vendor things and events and such, and I want them in there. Because being able to promote Harrison in this manner means a lot to me. And why? Well, because it's home. It is. 16 years later, Alicia and I, we have been here. We've been happy, and we've enjoyed it, you know. And so we'd like to invite folks to come and see. But again, Harrison, I hate to say it, we're not a tourist town. But all the tourists who are going to the northeast, west, and south, they absolutely come here. And I want to make sure that I can do what I can to extend some courtesy to those folks so they can help find all you folks who are in business and add a flavor, culture, and a color that really makes this place special. And sometimes when we're the ones who live here, we can get caught up in the forest for the trees and not realize, you know, really how cool we have it. Because we do. We've got, for, you know, again, for a population size that Harrison is, there are a lot of great amenities here. There truly are. It's like all the creature comforts anyone could want. I'm going to throw a stone, if you will, but I don't mean to. Just take it for what it is, lighten up. But say, when you look at all the things that are in Harrison, when people say there's nothing to do, there's nowhere to eat, blah, blah, blah. Imagine if you were living somewhere out in the, I don't know, again, not picking on you, I'm just using it as an example. But say like your Bergman. Now, Bergman's tiny, and they don't have even, you know, they just don't. It's not being disparaging to them. It's a great town. I like that little town. But again, don't take for granted what you have here inside the city limits of Harrison, Arkansas. And then when you realize all the things you can day trip to around here, wow, we have quite the backyard. We really, really, really do. To the north, we've got Branson. To the south, we've got Jasper and all the stuff in Newton County. And then when you head out west, you've got Berryville, Eureka Springs. If you want to keep going to Fayetteville, knock yourself out. I don't like to drive. That's just me. And then when you get back over to the east, you can cruise on over to Yellville and Flippin and Mountain Home. And again, there's so much beauty and flavor and color and fun. And Liz said we got nothing at all. Oh, well, they're out there in Bergman. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, Liz. But no, seriously, it's like there's everywhere you are can be the greatest place you've ever been. just we can lose sight of it because we just get a little indifferent to things. I know I have. I'm not going to lie. But again, mine's not a goal of changing anything. Mine is to put a spotlight on all the great things that are here and encourage others who are here to continue to do things like, hey, here's a plug. Tomorrow night at Nino's Place, well, I can't remember the number, but they're on Willow Street, right down from Commerce Mall. You can catch Tucker Tillis. He was on the show earlier this week. I hope you get a chance. Go back and rewatch that because Tucker is a great guy and a talented fella. And he's going to be performing there at Nino's. Go show up. Go enjoy some food and adult beverage and whatever you like there. But Tucker, I mean, I'm telling you, again, Maryland, you're doing a great job down there bringing that life to that nightlife, especially to downtown Harrison. So I truly tip my hat to you. And then Saturday night at Commerce Mall, kicking off around about 6 o'clock, is Commerce Karaoke, where my very own Caitlin is pretty much she's turned into the KJ out there, and I'm pretty tickled with that. And it's nice seeing that the crowd that we're starting to are regulars that are showing up. Again, it's totally free. Come on in, and you can enjoy the amenities found at Buffalo River Coffee because Bree and Jake like to keep the door open so you can get your refreshments there, and it's a lot of fun. And the thing about this is karaoke at Commerce Mall has now opened up what I'm hoping to see more and more of. Harrison being a hub for the outliers, right? Because if you don't have it there, well, you come here and do it, and you don't have to go that far. And one of our main group of regulars, these young folks are coming in from Valley Springs. How fantastic is that? And I want to just continue encouraging that, and more and more and more from the Northeast, West, and South. Oh, the news. But yeah. So anyway, that's my dog. It's so funny. I'm so comfortable right now. That's why I'm not shutting up. I apologize, sort of. But my cup is getting empty, and I have kept you on so long. And I thank you to every single one of you who have maintained watching this thing live. And I do hope that you'll do me the big favor. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, and be sure to follow whichever platform you're on watching this. Give it a follow because we are growing this thing together. And never think for a second that I do not appreciate that. Again, this whole disc jockey, I love you folks who are willing to share some time with me like this. I genuinely do. I cannot stress that enough. And I want to continue to provide a service to you to get you informed, keep you entertained, and just have some fun with it. Conversation is what it's always been about, but now I don't have to squeeze it into 15 seconds over the top of a record. So I truly enjoy this. I really do, and I hope all of you do too. If you have ideas, if you have story suggestions, things you would like to know more, I'd appreciate it because I'll chase them down. And it's like, again, information, entertainment, real journalism. I'll shoot it straight down the middle with you. And there's a couple stories I'm looking into right now because I didn't know what's happening. And again, I'm not going to say jack until I get the opportunity to look into it. Not that anything is bad. It's just more of the story. And so yeah, there we go. Boy, I have babbled so much tonight. Thank you for humoring me. But again, I'm going to turn this clicker off here just or the ticker off here in a second. But be sure, go 72601.life. And if that doesn't work for your browser, because it's one of those weird, wonky new extensions they do now, but you can go to commercemall.net on the front page. You'll see where you can click through to the page. It's actually our AMP Multimedia page, but redressed for this specific purpose. And you can get a copy of it. You can download the guide. And you can also, if you're a business who's not in there, reach out, hit the emails, but put your email in there and send to me. I don't sell your information. I'm not interested in that. I think it's crap and won't do it. So anyway, but that way I can get you in the book. Now, I'm pretty tickled to say that AMP Multimedia is starting to grow. And we are growing with a couple people who are going to be working with us to continue to grow this thing. I'll introduce you to them later as we go. But kind of taking some of the weight off those old boys' shoulders, and I appreciate that a lot. But there's a lot coming. And so long as you want to play, you know me, I love to play, and we're going to. With that said, though, this is Thursday, November the 21st. Once again, we're going to wrap up. Be sure to join me tomorrow night, 7 p.m.-ish, where we're going to be chatting with Aaron Anderson about his experience getting things lined out for his business, Vigilant Inspection Services, on Google. And if you're a business person and you've had problems, you very well may want to check that out because I love the insight from folks who've had, the boots on the ground taking care of this stuff. Anyway, gang, I hope you have the best night ever and then some, and roll with it. Everybody have a great night. See you tomorrow.